am joined today by Mark Medina from IGN. And what do you do at IGN, Mark?
Stella, why am I here? It is early. It is a Sunday. I'm
You
supposed to be
asked for
I'm
earlier.
supposed to be at church right now.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
you know, this is this is against my normal Sunday, but I'll make the exception.
I
What do
feel
I
so
do at
blessed. Thank
IGN?
you.
Nothing. It's indescribable what I do. It's nothing and everything. I'm looking at the Twitch chat and it's messing me up. I have to look at Discord. I'm like, she's not reacting to anything I'm saying. Let's see. I guess I am new to your stream, so nobody would know who I am unless they're just like IGN people.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Give us a little. Also, your title has changed this year, so
Yeah. Let's see. So next month I'll hit 8 years at IGN, which is a long time. And so for the first 7 years, I was on your team, the gameplay team. Yay!
yeah.
That's why we're besties. And then in February I left, and now I'm on the wikis team, and now I just run wikis video, which means we still all get to work together, which is fun.
I know. Yeah. I was surprised that we were doing as much work together as we were when you left, because I was like, like our stuff isn't going to collide that much, but it literally does. Like we did so much Tears of the Kingdom stuff. I wrote that wiki about the balls for you.
Still the best shrine guide that exists on that entire wiki for sure.
Yeah, and then you're like, this is perfect. No, just
It's
eat
great.
it.
You're like, hey, it says something about like you just do just the tip with the balls. I should probably make it cleaner, right? And I'm like, why? It's perfect.
Yeah, I was like,
I
all
wouldn't.
right. I think we all stopped caring because we were like, this game is so fucking long. We have been on this
Dude,
game for so long.
there's like 150 shrines. Like you have to assume that some of them are gonna be like not in the greatest mental state.
Okay. All right. So I'm actually really curious. You've played Baldur's Gate, you've played Tears of the Kingdom, you've
Yep.
played Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty now. Do
Yep.
you have like a set contender in your head for like what is going to be your game of the year?
Like if I had to vote right now for just one,
Yes, for one.
uh,
I guess like Cyberpunk 2077, that could be like a standalone thing, right? Like best expansion
sure,
or whatever, right? Yeah.
right. Honestly, I would probably still. It would definitely be between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate, because those are the
Okay.
only two games that I'm like, when I'm not playing them, I cannot wait to play them again. Because that's how it was with Zelda. When the first weekend Zelda came out, I like woke up and I was like, I'm straight to Zelda. And we just played it all day. We played it all weekend. Great game. We'd get off work and I'd be like, cool, Zelda time. When I wasn't playing it for work.
Yeah.
But Baldur's Gate kind of has that kind of pull as well. The game's been out for a little bit longer now, so it's not as addicting as it was like a month ago, but it's still great.
Don't you have like multiple playthroughs right now?
Yeah, well, so we were playing on PC because that's what everybody was playing on. But my PC this is my work office, and I don't always want to be in here. So then when it came out for PlayStation, now we're playing on PlayStation. And yes, you can just transfer your saves, but I said fuck it, and I just started a new character. So I'm doing a Karlak run right now, where I'm playing as Karlak, and she's great, and the game is fun.
I think that's pretty cool. I want to do God. Okay, so I'm doing my own like original character playthrough, and then I want to do the Dark Urge playthrough, and then an Origin one sounds pretty good because like. I mean, some of those characters go through some very big changes, and I really like it. The character development is so good. So I'm just like, oh, you know what? Maybe Mark's onto something with playing as an Origin character.
I thought it would be like boring because you're like, I want to be this like outsider that gets to experience everyone's story. I don't want to have to like take on, because like if you're like, I'm going to be Shadowheart, then like that's your goal, right? Your goal is to get the artifact to Baldur's Gate. You don't have your own goal. Or you don't have no goal, but you're just helping other people.
You don't have no goal.
Yeah, and then that's kind of how it is. The Dark Urge, though, that's terrifying.
It's
I've heard
whole other thing.
I've heard it's like genuinely like chilling sometimes.
You're just kind of like pure evil for no reason.
Right, right, but it's like evil that you can't control.
Yes.
And so it's like I've heard the scenes that they've made are like chilling, like mutilation scenes.
I saw one and I was like, oh. Yeah. So
I
the
don't know if I could
recommended
do
thing
that.
is, yeah, the recommended thing is to play normal
Yeah.
and then do a dark urge. That way, like, you don't miss out on a bunch of things because you ended up killing people.
Hmm.
So,
Like nice
yeah.
people that don't deserve to be murdered.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes things gotta get done, but listen, it's fine. As long as no one sees it, that's what matters. So
Sure. Sure.
yeah. But anyways, I want to talk about Cyberpunk because we've been playing that for way too long. It's so funny because I got a message from my friend who, like, because I have the Discord linked to whatever game I'm playing, and he
Hmm.
was like, "You've been in Cyberpunk for like 10 hours today."
It's called work, baby.
I know. And I was like, "Dude, there's so much I have to do for work. You don't
Yep.
understand." And he's like,
Yep.
"You haven't gotten off the game since like 8 a.m. today." And I'm like, "Shut up."
For like a week straight, bro. Like this is our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
My
It sucks because, like, I don't know when I should stop recording, right? Because I feel like everything's
Mhm.
kind of important, but yeah.
my Cyberpunk game file on GOG says like 130 hours. I've not
Really?
played that game for 130 hours, but that's what I mean. Same with Zelda. Like I never even beat Tears of the Kingdom, but I have like 130 hours because like that's that's the nature of our job is because like
Yeah.
I was just on GameScoop and they were like, you've played so much Phantom Liberty, we have to assume that you've beat it, right? I actually haven't because
No.
you get to a point where you're like, okay, I no longer need to progress the story. I get what's going on. I understand
Exactly.
Dogtown. Now it's time to do all the like wiki work that we have to do. So it's a lot of hours spent in the game. And then eventually I'll go back to the story and I'll be way over leveled for it.
I mean, it'll be nice though, because like I definitely noticed that a few times I was like, oh my God, I'm spamming my heal button just because I'm a little bit
Hmm.
overwhelmed with the enemies. So it's been nice kind of just running around. And honestly, I've been kind of farming the passive skills that you get once you use, like, like
Right,
if you use your net
right.
running skills and then you get that
Hmm.
leveled up. I'm like, oh, this unlocks more RAM. Ooh, this unlocks more, what is it, like less quick hack reduction costs and stuff. So I'm
Hmm.
just like, I mean, I'll just sit here and kill the same guys over and over again to farm it, So
Was
it's like,
skill progression there before 2.0? I can't remember.
I
I
don't
didn't
remember it really being a thing.
like I feel like I remember it saying like Netrunner but I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I
I
haven't played the game in forever, so.
No, me neither. This is the most that I've played the game because I originally went back after Edge Runners came out and I wanted to play it more, but I was like, oh, I'll play this. We'll progress the story. And I got through, the main part or the main like beginning part. And then I was like, okay, we'll come back to this because that's like a good, like, what, 4 hours or so?
Mhm.
And then I just never got back to it because a bunch of other stuff came out. And then this was the first time that I really played so much of it. And I was like, wow, that hour meter has gone up so much. Like, I
Yeah.
think just from doing wiki work, it's been like 40, 50 hours.
Yeah.
So,
It's we've worked a lot
yeah.
this week on this game. Well, I think we've had I don't know. I want to say like 2 weeks we've been playing. I don't know, it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, we got access to it pretty early, which is pretty nice. But it did kind
Yeah.
of suck because I couldn't talk to anyone else about it. So I was just like, Mark, 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 Mark. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't have like social media anymore, so I only can like ever talk to just people about it. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Because like there's no one else to share funny clips with and stuff because like there's some cool stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Which like we won't spoil here, but it sucks because like play it so we can talk about it because there's some fun quests in there. And I don't know, I feel like 2.0 specifically, not even like just Phantom Liberty, has just sparked my love for this game again. Like I liked
Yeah.
it before 2.0, but oh
Hmm.
my God, there's so much. So like my thing right now is that I'm really into net running and also throwing knives, which I don't think
Right.
throwing knives were a thing before, right?
I can't remember, but I don't remember
Yeah.
them being as effective as they are now because
No.
all the footage that you send me is
It's
all
just
throwing knife footage, but it rules. Like it's all super good footage. Like it's all
thank
like
you.
it looks super cool, and I'm like, damn. Apparently, that's super viable now. It's just like throw butter knives at people. That's
Dude, no, it's so funny because like I didn't think I was gonna like it that much. I picked up one and it was pink, and I was like, oh, we'll see how this works. I was like,
Mhm.
oh shoot, wait, if I throw it, am I never gonna get the knife back? But no, it shows that cooldown time like in the reticle, and I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
oh my
Oh,
God.
so it's
So
infinite. You just
yes,
that's
it's
your weapon.
amazing.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's so good. Also like some of the knives have like toxins and stuff.
Mm.
Uh one of the like throwing axes I got, they're electrified, which is really cool. So
Mm.
when it hits like one of those drones, it explodes, which is really fun.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was just like, wait a minute. So I made all 3 of my weapons that I can have just throwing knives. So
Hmm.
like when I
Oh
run
my
out of one,
gosh.
yeah. So when I throw one, I just switch to another one, throw it, and then the cooldown like goes down by the time I get to the
Right.
3rd one, and I just keep going. It is so much fun.
Yeah. Well, and you said the hacking too. I feel the hacking is so much better than it used to be.
It
Like with
is,
the
yeah.
hacking queue and all that stuff. And it's funny because if you start a new Phantom Liberty character, they automatically build you. Normally, like if you make a character in a game like Witcher, Blood and Wine, and stuff like that, it'll be like, here's 40 skill points, make your character. And you're like, oh my gosh, so overwhelming. In Phantom Liberty, they make a character for you, and it's a net running character. And it's like, it's because they
Mm.
know they're like, they want you to they want you to see how cool the net running is now. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense. They
It's
let you
really cool. I do
respec if
like
you
it.
want, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. I do
Hmm.
love the net running. I remember for the vanilla game we did a like a net running
Hmm.
build, the best stuff to do for net running, best one for
Yeah.
like whatever, like physical strength, stuff like that. And the net running was always so much more interesting to me because I'm like, you can just
Hmm.
look at someone and they'll die. Like that's kind of
Yep.
sick, dude. Like what?
Well, now it's like
Um,
the new stuff you can do hacking queues, so you can do multiple hacks on one person, and then you can do stuff where the like hack will spread to everybody. It's almost like
yes.
an
Oh my god.
Overwatch when you do Sombra, the mass
Yes.
like
Oh my
hacking,
god.
and like they'll all just explode, and it's great.
Doing
What a game.
queuing up Contagion, which is that
Hmm.
like the thing that makes them. It's
The
so
like
funny.
poison
First of all,
one,
it's so
yeah.
gross because they all like go throw up. They like walk over to different corners of the area they're in, and they're like, "Ugh," they get sick. But it's
Yeah.
once you queue it, so you hit Contagion to hit like specific people. They just die.
Yep.
It's
There's
kind of
like
crazy.
really insane ones where they'll turn on their people, they'll kill themselves. Like
I
there's
saw
some
that.
like
Yeah,
pretty nutso ones that they've added.
yeah. Did you watch Outrunners?
Yes, I love it. It's the only
Okay.
anime like I feel like I've ever watched. Just
Really?
because
No
yeah, I
way.
don't watch anime. So like, but I couldn't not watch it because Cyberpunk. Oh, okay. I lied. And when I was in junior high, I watched Pokemon and Sailor Moon.
Okay, yeah, that's anime, dude.
And then nothing until until
Nothing.
Edge
Not
Runners.
even like Naruto.
No, I don't even know what that is.
Really? Okay, okay. Huh.
No, I'm too cool. You're like
Damn
you're like I
it.
have
Why
so
we
many
both work
thoughts.
at IGN? We
You're
know
like I
that's
have
not true.
so many thoughts going through your head. That's true. That you
Oh.
cannot be cool and work at IGN. That's they clash so much. Even if you were cool before, the second you like
As soon as you
sign
say,
your
yeah.
you're done. You're no longer cool.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so this is like a little TMI, but like that makes me think of so every time I go to get waxed, right? They always ask what Mark.
Fuck. I gotta go.
Well, they always ask, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I'm not about to tell you what company I work for, where I'm on camera, while you're waxing like my private parts. I'm not going to
Sure.
do that." So I'm
Sure.
just like, "Oh, I work for a company that reports on news, on
Yeah.
entertainment and stuff." I'm just like, "Oh, online news."
Yep. I usually say
Yeah,
like online media or something like that.
online media. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Because it's like most people, yeah, it's true. It'll be like, oh, you guys make the games or you guys test the games, and I'm like,
Oh,
why does that always what people go to? That's so
I mean,
funny. I guess I
I
get
don't.
it, but
I guess, like, would you say we test games? I don't
no,
think so. Like, we give them
no,
feedback in like preview form, but that's not testing the game.
right, right.
We're not like,
That's
yeah, we're not QA.
no, no,
Yeah.
no,
God, imagine.
no. We do nothing. We do nothing in the form that helps them make their game. You
Right.
you deliver us a yeah. Well, and that's why previews and reviews are so different because it's like
That's true.
previews, our style guide is to not be like overly negative, which was super fun sometimes because it's like I previewed I did our first and only preview for Marvel's Avengers, and I remember when I played it and I was like, I know this game sucks. Like, and like you're
Yeah.
allowed to say like I have some concerns, but like you always have to go into it with that like mentality that they could change something. So
Right. Yeah.
you're like, I have some concerns. The only time I've ever seen us do like an actual negative preview was for that Lord of the Rings Gollum game. Like,
Wait, actually didn't even see the preview. I just saw the review and I was like,
yeah.
oh.
Well, so like a review, we can destroy it because like this
Yeah.
is the retail product that you're trying to sell people. So if your game sucks, like if I had that's why they never like the preview and review person to be the same person. If I had
For sure.
reviewed Avengers, I would have been like, this game does not have legs, blah blah blah. But it's like for the preview, I have to be like, it was kind of cool, but like here are some concerns. So it's like, but
Yeah.
with Gollum, they just let I don't know who did the preview, but they were like, they let him just be like,
Mhm.
yeah, this game sucks.
Yeah, I remember my first preview was for this like cartoon. It was for this like, God, what was it? It was like the detective was a cat, like this humanoid cat, and he was like trying to. It was a part of this like comic series that's been around for a while. And it was my very first preview, and I remember being like, okay, this could be really good, but it has a lot of issues. And my point with the preview in delivering that like feedback was hopefully they'd listen to it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we definitely need to work on this. Which it's interesting because when you bring up those points of like, hey, this needs to be worked on, the devs usually already know that that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's really just kind of like reiterating what they already know. But yeah, I feel like I've definitely done some preview events, especially for like Apex, where like I report some bugs, but that's like the extent of the QA thing, right? Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying like it was buggy. Like if I go back and I look at some of the previews I've done, but the Avengers one is now like on my mind. Like I have no problem saying like this has a lot of microtransactions and the combat's not great and stuff like that. But it's like it's always with that like twinge of like, but it could get better.
Yes.
The game's not out for a month. And a lot of the times with previews, sometimes we're playing games like I think with our Spider-Man preview, they said that they were everybody that previewed the game, a few weeks ago, were playing a build that was actually 6 months old. So
wow.
I was like, oh, that's super interesting, like how candid they were, because they were like, if you guys think this game looks good, this was Insomniac. They're like, that build was 6 months old. They're like, imagine what it looks like now. So that's why you always got to give it the benefit of the doubt. But then when Spider-Man comes out, and if it's awful, then we get to say it's awful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it won't be because it looks amazing.
I mean, okay, so did you run into any bugs with Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty when you were playing?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No. Sorry. You would think I would have, because I remember how buggy that game was at launch.
Oh my
I
God.
remember that was like a thing. Yeah. No, not really. Not anything that I can really think of with Cyberpunk so far. It's been very solid, which is like, and I've seen other people be vocal about this on Twitter. So right now the game is still technically embargoed because like we're not allowed to use our own footage until launch. And it's like everybody on Twitter is saying like, yo, this game rules. And it's like, yeah, and then they'll get comments of people being like, but I'm a little skeptical because that's what everybody said before with 1.0. I
mean, yeah.
And then once we got to show actual footage, then we saw the bugs. And I see those same people responding, and they're like, no, trust me. It's actually really dumb that they won't let us show the game because like
it really is.
It's gorgeous.
Dude, oh my God, I swear it looks so much prettier. Like the rain looks so good. I had this one section where it was just random part of the day. It turned into Blade Runner, right? The latest movie where it just was all orange.
It's been very foggy.
It's
a lot.
Yeah. But like that was my first time where it was just like a sandstorm. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
I was like trying to take a bunch of pictures and stuff. I was like, oh my God, dude.
It's cool until you're trying to get like good footage of the game.
Yes.
Because it's so foggy, and I keep having to change. I'm like changing the time by an hour because I'm like, I want it to be clear. Yeah. And it's like super foggy. But then the other day I was playing just for fun, and I was like, yo, this is sick. Like it is cool. Yeah.
Dude, it sucks. I want to play it on stream because like there's so many great moments that I'm like, I don't want to have to keep like, doing the GeForce capture the past 5 minutes thing. I'm like, just let me show people.
Well, and what sucks is you can technically play it now, but you can't play on the save that you've been playing on, your Phantom Liberty save. Not today, not until
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay. I was like, ever?
Oh, no, just because that's embargo. But 2.0 is out now. So, like, we don't
I
have to really
know.
be like, guys, trust us. The game is gorgeous. Like, you can
Yeah.
play it. The game is gorgeous. You
I
can
know, but
play it right now.
I want that specific save.
But yeah,
Like
you
as soon
can't
as we
you
get
can't
off
play
the
Phantom Liberty
I know.
until tomorrow, which is unfortunate. Because it's
Dude,
so fun.
it is. Also, Idris Elba. I mean, like, listen,
He's so hot. And
he
so is
is.
Songbird. Everybody,
I know.
even Myers, even the president, she's kind of hot too. They're all
I
hot in
know.
this
Oh
game.
my god. I was so surprised. I was like, am I simping for the president of New
Right?
USA?
Of Noosa?
Noosa, what a name, dude. Like, I was like, oh my god. Like, excuse me.
When I first
okay.
saw it in the subtitles, and I was like, what is Noosa? And he's like, the new USA. And I'm like, oh right. I
You're
just
just
when
like,
I
God
see
damn
it,
it,
I
there
just
you
see
go.
Noosa now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember at Comic-Con, they were showing off their new like statue where it's Songbird and Reed standing like back to back, and then you could
Yeah.
also get like it's like the collector's edition. You could get the Noosa coin and everything, and I'm like, who
Oh,
wants
cool.
the Noosa coin? Like, who wants all that stuff? And then like after playing this, I'm like, oh, I guess you know what? Having that emotional attachment to it now, I'm just like, I understand why people would want it. But like, if you're pre-ordering it, it's like that doesn't mean
Mhm.
anything to you.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny. Somebody in your chat said they went Final Fantasy and made everyone hot. That's kind of been the theme.
They did.
That's kind of been the theme of this year, though, right? Because like everybody in Baldur's Gate is super hot.
Mhm.
Everybody in Final Fantasy 16 is super hot, and like I'm
Yes.
glad that they finally just got to the. They're like, we get it. We just gotta make hot characters. Like that's what we got to do.
I know. Oh my god. Salmon in chat says if the collector's edition doesn't include 9 inches of Venom, I don't want it.
19 inches of Venom.
Oh,
My goodness.
19 inches. Oh, a whole 10 added to that. Oh my god.
I love how much of a meme that is now. That's so good. I wonder if that was intentional. I have to
They
assume it
have to have
wasn't.
known. They have to have known what it was.
Because now
There's
so many
no way.
companies are doing it. Like Square Enix put out a tweet. And
Oh yeah, I know.
they're like
Yeah.
pre-order Rebirth and get, 18 inches of Sephiroth. And you're like, this is just like a thing now.
It's so
It's
bad.
great.
Okay. But it actually would have been really funny if like a boomer employee was like, oh, 19 inches of Venom. Like, like he's a tall guy. And then someone else looked it over and went, oh no.
I choose to live in a world that they did not, that was not intentional. And they were like, oh, you said 19, that's not great. And then the reception has been what it is. And then they're like, wait, hold on. This actually might be good for us. Never mind. Might have stumbled into something here.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Sephiroth was apparently 20 inches. He has an inch
Oh,
over over Venom.
I mean, his
so.
sword, the Moss of Moon, like it's a very long sword. It is.
Oh my god, dude! Actually, that reminds me. So, someone did I don't know if it was us or if it was like a Phantom Liberty like promo thing, but
Mhm.
someone asked Idris Elba like, "Oh, hey, you know that people do mods all the time so that they can like have sex with the characters?"
Right.
And he was like, "Okay," and she was like, "Are you ready for that?" And he's like, "I don't know." What a weird question to ask someone, dude.
That's so funny. I think they did that to it was so funny. They did that to Keanu Reeves, but it was during the Matrix press tour. So he was with Carrie Ann Moss, and they were like, "Hey, so you're in a video game?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he doesn't know anything about video games. He just plays the main character in one of the
Yeah.
biggest video games ever. And they're like, what do you think about like people doing mods so they can have sex with Johnny Silverhand? And he's like, that's cool and stuff. And they asked Carrie Ann Moss, and she's just like, no, that's awful. I would never want that.
It's so weird. Like I get
It is
it,
weird.
but it's very weird when like the model is so clearly a specific person, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
basically Keanu. Like
Right.
yeah. And it's just Idris. Like it's so weird. Like it's one of those things of like asking how do you feel about people trying to have sex with you? It's like,
Mm.
yes, I'm good,
It's becoming such a thing, and it makes me it's like kind of funny, but also like kind of scary because it's like
Yeah.
I love the idea of like Mary Jane and Spider-Man. That's Laura Bailey. Everyone knows what Laura Bailey looks like,
Mhm.
but it's not. It's Mary Jane, right?
Mhm.
But like Reed, That's Idris Elba, right?
It's
Johnny
just him, yeah.
Silverhand, that's Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves. Death Stranding, Sam, that's
Oh,
Norman Reedus. Like it just
yeah.
is. And so you're kind of like, and everybody in Death Stranding, everybody is just them, right? Like nobody is altered in any way. That's actually one of the first times I think characters have kind of looked like him, but like Troy Baker's character in that game just looks like Troy Baker. And it's becoming this weird thing where we're just playing as celebrities in video games.
It's weird.
Or like
Yeah,
interacting with celebrities in video games.
yeah, it's very weird. It's the same thing of like when I watch a movie and it's got the same famous actors we see all the time, right? It kind of takes you out of it because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not immersed in this because I know it's all fake, right? But when you have
Right.
something like say the TV show Wheel of Time, where it's like these actors that you're not necessarily familiar with, you're just like, oh, this is interesting. This is a little bit more immersive because you don't know who they are. They could totally just be people out of that universe. It's really interesting. But yeah, Johnny Silverhand is totally just Keanu Reeves, and
It's
like
just
especially
Keanu Reeves.
the way he delivers things, I'm just like, yeah, no, that's just Keanu. It's so funny, dude.
But then you play like Baldur's Gate and you're like, that's Shadowheart. That's
Yeah.
Asterion. Like none of those. I don't know what any of those people look like in real life.
Oh my god, have you seen Lizelle's voice actress? She actually kind of looks like Lizelle.
So I just said that. I'm actually lying. I did watch the video we put together. I think it was us where it was Lizelle and Shadowheart's character, and they're reading IGN comments or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
god,
That video was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty funny because there were so many thirsty comments. To be fair, Baldur's Gate, it like touts itself to be a very like horny game.
It's a very horny game.
Yeah. Oh, which by the way, I hear Joel finally finished all the romance scenes, and it's like
Oh my
2
gosh.
hours long of all of the romance scenes possible in Baldur's Gate 3.
Little behind the scenes. Yeah, he was supposed to work on something else, and I was like, okay,
He was
work
supposed to be
on
on Cyberpunk with
yep.
us.
And I was like, work on this for 4 days. And it's been almost 3 weeks. And he finally was like, I have the screeners ready. And I was like, I'm not watching these today.
Yeah.
Because he sent them on Friday, a day that I was already leaving early and it was too busy. And I was like, cool. Sorry, buddy. I'm not watching these. I'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. 2 hours long.
It's crazy.
That's a lot of Baldur's Gate fucking. I haven't watched the video yet.
It's so funny because like he has to censor anytime because the game bugs out when you're not supposed to have nudity. When you select nudity off, it still bugs out. So you have to like go and put black bars over like boobs and stuff. But it was so funny because apparently the still for that clip for that screener was just demon titties.
Oh my god! Oh, it is.
It's the thumbnail.
Oh my gosh! I have to go see this now. I'm going right now. I cannot wait.
It's so funny.
Let's see here.
Are you actually looking it up right now?
Yep. Oh, it sure is.
It is? Oh, hell yeah,
dude. He made 2 of them.
I don't care.
There's 2. Well, I mean, it is what it is. We don't get to choose what those are. It's not like it'll be the actual thumbnail, but
imagine the comments we would get. IGN fishing for views again, and it's like, I mean, we literally are because this is all the romance scenes. So I don't know what you want from us.
No, there was a bit of discussion where we were like, which one do we put up, right? Because he made 2 versions, a suitable for work version, which is like, it just means no nudity. It's probably still not suitable for work. And then a not suitable for work. And somebody in the company was like, what if we put up the not suitable for work version on our main 17 million subscriber YouTube channel? And they're like, but then we'll just censor it. And I'm like,
what?
Nope.
No,
I was like,
we're
it
not
is
doing that.
2 hours long. We are not doing that.
That is not worth it. Also,
nope.
Yeah, it does suck though, because like apparently, if you choose non-nudity, it does change the scene that you get, which is interesting.
Which actually was something that like made this whole project more work than I thought, because I thought he would just be capturing 2 versions of the same scene. I didn't realize that it like actually changes it, and I was like, well, shit, it's been a whole thing.
It's pretty cool though that like Well, I guess like some of the scenes are a little too graphic, so they just like they just black it out. And they're just
Yeah.
like, all right, and you just wake up next to each other. And it's like, oh well, that's boring.
Yeah, yeah. That's what he told me. He was like some is like they'll be doing it. He's like and then in the censored version, they just like go to bed. I'm like, oh, they do the like Starfield romance.
Dude, I was so disappointed in Starfield when they were like, oh, there's gonna be jetpack sex. I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude. And it turns out it's just a line you say when you wake up next to each other. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, there's no
okay.
romance in Starfield. We were gonna try to seek them all out, and we were like, these are really boring, actually.
Also, I hate the first companion. We get Sarah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Every time in the guide video that I did for you, I like every
Mhm.
time she would make like it was so funny. Every time there was a sound up, it was me stealing something and her being like, I didn't know I was traveling with a thief. And like in
Oh
little,
yeah.
like little tech captions, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, Sarah. Because she like always comments and I'm like, hey man,
Yeah.
if I wanted to play a space pirate, like what are you gonna do? Like get off my ship, dude.
Yeah, I actually don't know if you were playing as somebody who wanted to be kind of like a bad
Yeah.
guy. I don't know who you should travel with in Starfield. I'm sure there's somebody, but
Vasco, because he doesn't give a shit.
oh, okay. The robot.
The robot.
The robot's like whatever.
Have you seen the clip of him just absolutely decking the shit out of an NPC while the player was talking to
Mm,
them? It's so funny.
damn, that's
He
really
just
good.
goes, threat detected. Bam.
Knocks him
As
out.
they're talking.
Starfield. What a game.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just been so hard because we have so many games that we've been having to pay attention to, like Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, and then Starfield just kind of happened to be like sandwiched between that. And
Yeah.
and because I'm already playing through Baldur's Gate, I'm so far in. I'm like, I'm gonna dedicate my time to this. I'm gonna play this. I tried to play Starfield. It's fine. It's a fine game, but like I'm like, I'm already dedicated to Baldur's Gate. I want to finish this story first, and also it's a little bit more compelling to me right now because
Mhm.
I'm gonna be real with you. All the story stuff in Starfield, I just kind of like press space and like
Yeah,
quick time through because I'm
it's
like,
not very
I don't
good.
care.
Sorry to the Starfield lovers in the chat, but if you probably don't know anything about me, but if you do, I'm on our Game Scoop podcast at IGN, and every episode I just get in trouble because I just talk shit about Starfield the whole time.
Oh my god. Well, that's why you don't have social media. It's great. People just
Exactly.
talking to
They
the void
can't they
about
can't
it.
do anything. They'll just leave comments and I'm like, well, whatever. I just don't even look at them. I do some because I also don't care if people I don't care if people like Starfield, obviously, because that'd be stupid for me to care if
Yeah,
people
I
like
don't.
a video
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
But I also don't care if people don't like that I don't like Starfield. I
Right.
don't care
Yeah.
about that. No, Starfield, we talked about this on Scoop. I'll reiterate a bit. Exactly what you're saying is it's so funny. So Baldur's Gate was supposed to come out early September, right? Basically
Yes.
same day as Starfield. And they launched a month early to get out of the way of Starfield. Um,
Yeah.
but then we all play Baldur's Gate, and it's so good that then trying to play Starfield, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, when it comes to like decision making, RPG mechanics,
Exactly.
this game, Starfield's got nothing on Baldur's Gate as far as like actual meaningful choices. Like I was watching somebody's review of Starfield, and they made this point where they were like, I played Baldur's Gate. And they're like, it's actually a frustrating moment, but it's also like this awesome thing. And like the design of that game is they were like they did something where they ended up killing a group of people, and then a couple hours later, this is in Baldur's Gate, a couple hours later they're fighting this like thing, and they're just getting destroyed, and they're
Hmm.
looking it up and they're like, what the hell, like why, how am I not killing this guy? Because Baldur's Gate is not really one of those games where you're like, I'm gonna go level up. It takes forever to level up in
Right.
that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, why can't I get
Yeah.
past this guy? And he looks it up, and turns out the people he had killed 3 hours earlier were supposed to come help him. But he
Oh,
didn't know that, killed them.
no.
And
That's
so
so
now he has no
funny.
backup. He's like, so I just lost 3 hours of progression because I went back and made sure
Yeah.
I didn't kill those guys. And
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, so it's like that kind of choice, those ripple effects, incredible. Then you
Yeah.
play Starfield and you're like, all right, this is a video game with a lot of loading screen and
Yeah.
not that much choice. And then you play Cyberpunk and you're like, yo, this is like shooting and you drive in a car. Did you see the video? Holy shit, it's so funny. It's a video of if Cyberpunk was Starfield. And it just like It's just like he's in his apartment. It loads, he's in his apartment. He walks to the elevator and he clicks the elevator and it pops up the loading screen again. And then he's at the bottom and he walks over to his car. He looks at the car and then it pops up a loading screen again. And then he's in his car and then he just chooses the destination on where to go, loading screen. And then he's just at the destination. I'm like, bro, but that's true. That is Starfield. That is what you do. And yeah, so it's so funny that games got out of the way to make it where Starfield like doesn't trounce them. And instead, Starfield is just getting like beat down from every side.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like Starfield isn't a bad game. It's just one of those games where it's like if you like it, it's like Skyrim and Fallout. If you like the game, you like it, right? And that's fine. I don't think here's the thing. It's so weird that in this like digital era of like gaming opinions, everyone's like, no, you have to have the same opinion as me. Why don't you get it? Why don't you like it? And it's like, no, it's fine that people don't like a game that you like. As long as you enjoy it, someone else not liking the game, it definitely does not take away from your enjoyment of it, right? And it's one of those things of like, it's supposed to be an RPG, but I didn't get any of that like immersive feel from Starfield. It looks gorgeous, don't get me wrong. I think it's great. But also even the character design, I was just like, oh man, I tried every option with my character. I don't like them. I don't feel connected to them. And in Cyberpunk though, when I make my character, I'm just like, I want to go into photo mode every time. I want to ride a motorcycle so I can see my character's ass because goddamn, she's hot, you know?
And what's funny is you can never even go in a third person in Cyberpunk. The only time you can see your character is when you're on a motorcycle or you go into photo mode.
Yeah, or look in a mirror.
In a mirror.
But it's like because you know what you look like, they do such a good job of immersing you into the world though, which is really good, even though you don't see your character all the time. And I'm like, how is that possible? That like, also just, I know Cyberpunk wasn't always like this, but you know, walking around the world of Starfield and seeing like the bug-eyed NPCs versus versus the characters that you see in Cyberpunk, I'm like, yo, that outfit's sick. I want to wear that, right? And you just see like people, you know, like drugged out on this corner, or like, you know, they're watching their what is it called, the
brain links,
the
brain dances,
and it's really cool because you're just like, oh man, this is totally like, this is what I expect from like a cyberpunk world. And the fact that you can adjust like crowd density and everything now, which is great. Also, when you drive to a place, it doesn't take 5 minutes for all the people to load in. It's nice.
Right.
I'm so happy that Cyberpunk really came back and it built itself up. Kind of like No Man's Sky, because like it just was not good. But
I've been seeing a lot of that
now.
where it's like, is Cyberpunk the comeback of a century? And I'm like, well, I mean, No Man's Sky is pretty incredible now. They're both great though. But I do agree. Like if it's not No Man's Sky, then Cyberpunk, or if it's not Cyberpunk, then it's a close second to No Man's Sky. Like it is quite the comeback. The thing about Cyberpunk that I was trying to like explain that like on the podcast the other day, that it's stuff that it doesn't get credit for is like, okay, so there's a part where Idris Elba's character, you have to go to like, he like takes you into like a basement or whatever, and it's just this like very like dramatic scene where he just talks. And I was thinking about it. You run up to him, it says go to read. You go to him and he's standing there, right? So you're on the other side of Night City. You drive your car, you drive all the way there, and he's just standing there. You talk to him. There's no dip to black. There's no going into a building about a loading screen. He's just there. You talk to him. He says, let's go to the elevator. You go to the elevator. You down the elevator. He goes. He does this whole scene where he's like walking around a basement, blah, 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 blah. Another character comes in. You leave and you walk out the front door. And like, you don't realize, because we kind of take the stuff for granted, I guess now.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a single loading screen. There's no dipping to black. There's no nothing. Like, you're in the open world still, and you talk to this person, they do a thing, and then you leave. And you're like, it's this like dramatic story moment, and you're like, there wasn't a single loading screen or dip to black. It's not a cutscene. Like, it's just happening, and it's just so cool. Like, that just doesn't really happen with games. Even GTA, right? Like GTA 5, which is 10 years old. When you run up, it dips to black and then shows.
That's true.
like the mission name and stuff like that, and goes into like an instanced cutscene.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of cool things about this game that like doesn't get some of the credit it deserves.
Dude, I actually didn't even notice that. Like, you're totally right. In the scene where we meet up with one of Reed's like informants or like friends that he had for a while back, like we were in a bar and then she clears them all out. You have to wait for everyone to leave the bar, and it's like people that were in the bar previously, which is really cool. So it's like, I totally didn't think about that.
You know what's funny about that scene is he tells you to leave, right? Because
Yeah.
him and Alex are going to catch up. They'll close the door behind you, but if you stay there and listen, they'll just talk. They catch up.
Yeah, it was so funny because they're like, yeah, so you got someone in your life?
Yep. They start talking about dating and all that. I'm glad you did that too, because Matt Kim, our reviewer, was like, I didn't think to like stay. And I was like, yeah, they actually like, it doesn't just close off, and like they actually talk. They actually have that conversation that they tell you they're going to have, and like 5% of people playing will actually listen to it. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's so nice because it makes the characters feel real, and I like that. It's such a like, it's such a lived in world is what I'm getting, and it's so different from like Starfield. When you walk around, you don't really hear the NPCs talking about anything that's like of real importance. Like in Cyberpunk, you hear them talking about like, oh, did you hear what so and so did, or like, oh yeah, like I've been trying to get a hold of this one doctor so I can get this implant or whatever. And it's really cool because you hear them talking about things that pertain to the world that kind of just add to the lore. And it's so nice. And even when you're in conversations with other people for any sort of quest or anything, you see them walk around like because you're in a fixed state where you can't like really walk away from it. But like the characters that are talking to you, they move around like how they do in TV shows and movies. And it's called blocking, where it's like carefully organized movement so that you don't lose interest in the scene, because it's boring. They're just talking to you, right? So when you're like talking to the president, she sits down in a chair, gets up, like holds a drink, stuff like that. And it's like, wow, they really thought of every way to like kind of keep you engaged, even though it might not be the most interesting story beat.
Well, that was something I was going to mention about that like basement scene is he walks around the basement, exactly what you're saying. And every time he like stops and like leans on a railing, you didn't notice it before, but there was like, there's lights strewn around the basement, and he's always standing in like one of the lights. And so it's like everything else is dark. And then you're like, where's he going to go next? And then he goes, and all of a sudden it's like, he's looking at a computer screen. So then the glow from the computer screen's on his face. And you're like, they did environmental lighting, but like in real time. It's really wild that like you can kind of like see where they're probably going to go next. And it's man, it's so cool. Starfield does kind of have that like random talking, but it's always just to give you a quest. It'll be like some man is like leaning up against a tree, and then it'll pop up on your thing, and it's like, go investigate this man. You're like, so that's not a real convo. That's just their way of like feeding you like kind of like side missions.
Yeah. Oh, so then how do you like the cell phone stuff? Like when sometimes people call you or like send you texts like, hey, I got this idea, or like I got this thing. I'm like, this feels real. This feels like, So, oh wait, what's the background that you went with?
For my new character for Phantom Liberty, I think I just did Street Kid.
Yeah, Street Kid's the best.
Because they're always the coolest anyway.
It feels canonical to the world.
Yeah.
Like, I think it feels like, because Corpo V would never do that heist early on in the game, right? Like I don't think Corpo V would ever do that. But like Street Kid, we're gonna make it big. Like, obviously, I think they would totally do that. So Street Kid V is definitely like the canon V.
When I played the game originally, that was just because it was a corpo. It starts in like an office. Nomad starts out in the desert.
Yeah.
And then Street Kid starts in a bar. And then you go and you like do this like super long drive through Night City, and I'm like, this is definitely like the best opening. It's my favorite of the openings, except for that Nomad has that cool like gunfight at the beginning, so that's cool.
That is okay. I feel
maybe
like
they're all
Nomad
good.
Nomad is probably a good one too, which is really cool because we meet a character in Phantom Liberty who is a nomad, but like he is like the literal definition of a nomad. He literally abandoned like his family to just be by himself and whatever. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like this, I'm just like, what? Why would you do that? But it's just it's a lifestyle, and they have like a label for it, which is kind of interesting. So yeah.
But no, it's really good. I very I'm encouraging people to kind of do the same thing that like CD Projekt Red is doing, which is like
Mhm.
just like play and just start over, like if you want,
Right?
because it's
Yeah.
just like so different now that
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, it's like it just feels like a whole new game, and it makes me want to just play through the whole thing again. It's very very good, but there's too many games to play right now.
There's so many. And I really want to give Cyberpunk the proper time to like actually
Mhm.
invest time into it. And it's been so hard going back and forth between Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk because I'm playing Baldur's Gate for me,
Yeah.
and Cyberpunk I want to play for me, but like right now it's been a lot of like content, like get this out, you know? And I'm like, okay, I feel rushed. Maybe that's why I haven't progressed Phantom Liberty's story yet because it's so good. It is so
Mhm.
interesting. I love Dogtown because I feel like that is the heart of what like Cyberpunk is, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like,
Pacifica. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
dirty and yeah.
yes, dude. So I'm just like, okay, I want to give this proper time. I'll do everything around the story. I won't do it yet, even though I know we were supposed to figure out like the ending. But I'm like, yeah, let me get there because I don't want to rush it, dude. Like, there's so much around this right now.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to finish I'll finish Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm like almost done. So like
Really? Oh.
I'm pretty I think I'm farther I'm definitely farther than you it sounds.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
I I want to finish Phantom Liberty, but I'd love to go back and just play the whole game again, but that is like
Yeah.
maybe over Christmas or something cuz
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
we have Assassin's Creed coming out soon. We have Spider-Man. We have the new Mario game, two Mario
Oh
games, the
yeah.
RPG, and like October is nuts. Like there's too many. I'm not even talking about for work. Like there's just too many video games I want to play.
Yeah.
That like because I'm really excited for Assassin's Creed. I think it looks really cool, and it's short too.
Assassin's Creed. I can't tell you the last time I was interested in Assassin's Creed. Maybe like the
Mm.
original trilogy, but I don't know.
Well, this plays a lot more like those. So
Yeah, I know, but it's not tied to like Altair or like, you know,
no,
it's yeah.
no.
So I'm like, I don't know.
I'm sure they'll tie it some bullshit way into Animus, whatever.
Oh, I'm
I haven't
sure.
seen much about that kind of stuff. But the thing that just has me excited is like I like Valhalla and I liked Odyssey, but they're just too damn long. And this
Yeah.
game is supposed to be a lot shorter. So it's like I'm very excited for some like short open world games. Get through Assassin's
That's
Creed,
fair.
get through Spider-Man,
Yeah.
play Mario. Like I'm excited to just kind of like get through some of these games.
No, that's okay. You know what? That's completely fair because Spider-Man, I remember Miles Morales, like it was perfect length for a game, a single
Yeah.
player game. I was like, oh, this is great. Loved it. And yeah, as opposed to like Cyberpunk, I love this game, but it's got so much in it. Same with Baldur's
Yep.
Gate. It's got so much in it. I'm just like, I love it, but I want something where like I can get the whole story in like a sizable bite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man is going to be great. Spider-Man is the only game at my time at IGN that we got early that I had the platinum trophy before the game came out because it's just
What?
the game
Holy
is so
shit.
like a lot of us did. Like the game is it's an easy platinum. It's so Spider-Man's just great
Ooh,
because it's like it's so easy to just like get everything done. It's so
wow.
attainable
Okay.
versus
That's
like,
fair.
you know,
Hmm.
other games where you eventually like Starfield, for example, I beat Starfield, but like, did I do everything?
Oh.
Hell no. I'm never gonna do everything. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do all the crimson like so eventually you just stop playing it. But
Yeah.
there's a few games out there where you're like, I have done everything in this game. And Spider-Man was one of them. I think like Assassin's Creed Origins, I have the platinum in that. And like Death Stranding, I have the
Oh, wow.
platinum. And it's like I'm not saying you have to platinum a game to say you're done, but it
No.
does feel good to be like, I'm not just putting this down. I beat the fuck out of
You
this
beat it. Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. That's why I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like at the last fight, but I'm doing everything else around it just because I don't
Mhm.
want it to end. And I'm like, I'm not ready for me to be done with this game.
That's
I
where
don't want
I'm
to
at.
100%
And
it, but like, I don't feel like I'm done.
well,
So
you
that
you
totally makes
asked
sense.
you asked me earlier what was my game of the year. What's your game of
Yeah.
the year so far?
God, dude, I don't know. Cause like, so a part of me wants Tears of the Kingdom to win because I never thought I'd be into a Zelda game, but
Oh
I
yeah,
loved it.
you're not a Breath of the Wild girl.
I'm not. Yeah, I played Tears of the Kingdom and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I guess I'll play it for work. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I'm actually really liking it. Also, the amount of stuff that has been, I love Baldur's Gate, but I've definitely run into some bugs there. And Tears of the Kingdom, I haven't run into any bugs.
They're pretty rock solid, yeah.
Yeah, that is the most solid game I've played all year. And it gives you so many tools to break the game, but like you never do. It's crazy. And it rewards you for having done a quest ahead of time, even if you didn't know it was a quest, and it just kind of speeds you through when you talk to the right NPC for it.
Yeah.
So I want Tears of the Kingdom to win, but also like Baldur's Gate, it is crazy in the amount of narrative choices you can have. I'm like, fuck, man. If either of those two win, I'm happy.
It'll definitely be one of those two. Like the only other contender, in my opinion, would be if Spider-Man comes out and it's just like so phenomenal. But like, I don't see it. Spider-Man is, as much as like people could say like Tears of the Kingdom is just more Breath of the Wild. Spider-Man 2 will just be more Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom felt fresh enough. And so I think people are going to play Spider-Man. I think they're going to absolutely love it. And they're going to be like, but when it comes to Game of the Year, it's got to be Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think my money's on Baldur's Gate, but like Tears of the Kingdom I feel like was really good, and it upped the amount. Like they did that on technically last gen hardware. I'm like, damn, dude.
On a phone?
Yeah, right? Actually, even phones now can do better stuff. Like with iPhone 15 now.
Can literally play like Assassin's Creed and Death Stranding and Resident Evil. That's wild.
It's crazy. Yeah, I was looking at the like upgrade and just like, oh, you can have this with like 144 hertz refresh rate, 60 hertz refresh. I'm like, why do I need that on my phone?
I thought about it, but like I bought my phone, I want to say like 8 months ago. It's the 14 Pro Max.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I just don't. I mean, I'm not gonna play.
No.
Like realistically speaking, I think it's very cool. Something sold me on it the other day where a guy, because Apple was like, it's gonna be the best console because it's in your pocket, and I was like, okay, that's weird. But then a guy posted a video, and it's just his phone, and it's just one cable coming out of it, plugging into the HDMI into the TV, and he's using a DualSense, and he's playing Resident Evil, and I was like, okay.
Whoa.
If you travel a lot and you get and you have like a DualSense or Xbox controller thing with your phone, and then you get to a hotel and you can plug it in and just straight into the TV, okay, that could be something. But I don't travel that much, so
well, for me, I do, and I was thinking about getting a Steam Deck, but if that's the workaround, because I was already thinking about upgrading because I have the 12, so like. That's not a bad option.
my issue is so here's why the Steam Deck is cool, right? Yeah. So like let's say you have Baldur's Gate or whatever or Cyberpunk or whatever. Like you have those games on Steam. So you're just playing those, you're taking those to go. If I buy Assassin's Creed Mirage on my phone, you don't have that anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's just the phone version.
Okay,
and
that's true.
That's the part. And I'm like, is it $70? Am I going to pay $70 for Assassin's Creed Mirage on my phone?
Yeah.
Nah, I probably couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I could buy the Steam version that I could then take to go.
No, that's fair. And then I wouldn't want to do it over cloud too, because like hotel internet is ass. I would never want to do that.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Actually, okay, so Zhang Pao in chat said, someone asked, is Cyberpunk like GTA but in the future? And you mentioned GTA and you compared it to, or you like
right
talked about it. So
I mean, kind of like you can steal cars and stuff, but like GTA has a lot less RPG mechanics. Like even stealing cars in Cyberpunk is based off your like physical attributes and stuff like that. Like you can't just steal a car if you don't have enough like strength. So it's like GTA has a lot less like RPG mechanics to it. Yeah. Cyberpunk is much more of an RPG. That said, GTA is just like fun as hell. So like it's just a different game. I'm not I they're pretty comparable though when you do think about them. They are pretty comparable. But I guess you could say sure, it's an evolution of like Grand Theft Auto, but to me, it doesn't replace Grand Theft Auto because sometimes when I play GTA 6, I don't want it to be an RPG. Like I want it to be a game with like fun ass shooting and like I could steal a helicopter and do crazy shit. Like I don't want it to be like you're making all these decisions and stuff. Like I wouldn't want that for GTA. So
because like GTA, you play set characters.
yeah,
So it does get rid of that like RPG feeling, right? Because that's why Baldur's Gate you feel more immersed because you have a character that you can like connect with.
yeah.
Same with Cyberpunk. I mean, you make all these
Hmm.
decisions and stuff, but yeah, it's ultimately your story that you're affecting, not this one person that like is already set that you're kind of living through. So,
What if you
um,
could play Cyberpunk with origin characters? What if you were like, I want to play Cyberpunk, but I want to play as Judy or as Panem?
oh, that'd be
That'd
cool.
be so
You know
cool.
what? I would love to have like a prequel or just like see like, like Evelyn's story, anyone else, that'd be really interesting. Cause like they talk about their past,
Hmm.
but I mean, okay, here's the thing. I also don't think I would want to play as Johnny just because I feel like we got so much of his story. I'm like, I don't need
Hmm.
this. But even Songbird, dude, like I would
Yeah.
play the shit out of like a Songbird original. Like,
It would
yeah.
just make it where they would all have to be good at shooting. And like I can't
Yeah, right,
picture
because they're
Judy
training.
Alvarez as like
Yeah.
someone who's good with guns. She's like
But
a
it, but
brain
it,
dance hacker.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
But it makes sense, right? Because if we start at their origin, then it's them like we unlock skills as we go, so that makes sense. We
sure.
start at zero, and like it makes sense canonically.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Also, Scoop Ball and chat, we're not like shitting on Insomniac. We're just saying that like compared to Tears of the Kingdom and like Baldur's Gate, where they're massive open world games, like it's just hard to connect that like scope to what Spider-Man is because it's still in New York, right? Which like I can't believe people were so upset that it's been like expanding New York or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, right?
it's New
Like,
York and Brooklyn.
yeah, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Aren't you happy there's more space for you to go to?
If anybody knew anything about if anyone knew anything about me, they would laugh at the idea that I would say anything that shits on Spider-Man unless it deserved it. Spider-Man 2018 like might be my favorite game of all time.
Really? Wait,
It's
even
definitely
above
up there.
Miles?
Oh wait, no. Okay. It would be a tie because Spider-Man, I really love Peter Parker and stuff like that, but Miles
Yeah.
is very good. So those are some of my favorite games of all time. No, it was less about like I don't think the game's going to be good. I absolutely think it's going to be good. I watched our preview coverage and I was like, yeah, this game's going to rule.
It looks so fun.
I think what's hard, I think this is why I think Baldur's Gate is going to win Game of the Year is because nobody really saw it coming. Like the game was in early access and it
Yeah.
had a lot of buzz, but like this game came out. I love their advertisements where their sponsored tweets and stuff like that are like come join the however many players that also mistakenly thought that this game wasn't for them because like they say that in their ads because like that's what's like
It's true.
I was like this is not for me and then my wife was like I kind of like D&D and I was like you're not that is not your kind of game you like click to move and stuff that is not your kind of game and she
Yeah.
is addicted to it like this game came out of nowhere and it's just like it's changing how video games are to the
Yeah.
point where it's like other developers are being like, please don't consider this the gold standard because like
I
they
know they're
had a
just so
lot more resources than a lot
cute.
of us have. And like the game is just incredible. And so I think it's going to be hard to topple that. I think Tears of the Kingdom was super cool, but it's going to be seen as more Breath of the Wild. I think Spider Man will be good, but it'll be seen
Yeah.
as more Spider Man. Baldur's Gate is like it's just never really been done before. Um,
Yeah, that's true. Because
if
the
it,
last one they had was Divinity, which is a totally
Mhm,
different system. People like that's even more selective for people to get into because it's not like
mhm.
D&D where more people know D&D, right? As
Yeah,
opposed to like Ilarion Studios like home game. So
original, yeah.
yeah, which is crazy though, because like yeah, you were making fun of you're just like oh D&D that's for nerds. I
It
would
is for
never get into
nerds.
that, and then you're just like yeah, I've been playing Baldur's Gate.
I just don't play it as like a D&D game. Like when it's like I
Yeah,
still couldn't fully tell you when it's like this sword does 2d14 damage and I'm like, "What?"
dude. Oh my god. Okay. So Joel said that he tried to explain to you what that meant. You're like,
Yeah,
no, I'm not reading all that.
I did. So he tried explaining it all and he put out this beautiful explanation and all I did was hit him back with the like it's that meme where it's like the Johnny Silverhand picture
No.
and it's just like yeah, I'm not reading all that. I'm happy for you though, or
God
sorry that
damn
that
it, dude.
happened.
You're such an asshole. Just trying to help you out.
And then Sully tried explaining it. Casey DeFreitas' husband, he tried
Yeah.
explaining it, and I was like, "What?" And then the other person, her name is Lynette. She tried explaining it. So then I went to lunch with Lynette in real life. I left my house and went to a
Yes.
lunch with a person. And then she started to explain it there. And I was like, nope, I don't want to hear it. I don't
Oh
want
my
the real life
God.
version of it. I kind of get it. I don't care. To me, this is just an RPG. It's just, that's all it is. And it's a
Yeah.
damn good one.
It's very good. Yeah. Zhang says in our group, no one picked Baldur's Gate 3 as a game for fantasy. Like, that's how big of a sleeper hit that game was. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, yeah. So Scoopball and Ivan, we're not saying that like Spider-Man or Tears of the Kingdom aren't good, but it's just that it's just gonna be we know what that story kind of entails with that within that universe, right? Like Spider-Man, we kind of know the stories that are going to be told about Spider-Man because there are so many renditions of it. But like Baldur's Gate, that's not even the original, like Baldur's Gate 1, the story is very different and unique, which
Mhm.
I forget there's a certain thing where like it's so funny. If you kill an NPC that like you need, apparently like a random one named like Bob or something will appear. It's so funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so interesting because Baldur's Gate 3 has I thought it was just gonna be big with like D&D players.
Hmm.
And it just blew up. Like
Everyone's
people
playing it.
yeah, people I never expected to be into this, which I honestly wasn't expecting to be into it because I don't like games where it's like turn-based combat. But I was like, wait, shit, this is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And I kind of want to explain just real quick about like, because I don't know how long this podcast is supposed to be.
Yeah, we can,
Um,
however long.
I kind of want to explain like game of the year. When we're talking about game of the year, I'm not talking about Game Awards game of the year because I don't know how that one's fully decided.
I don't know
It's
either,
like
yeah.
it's like they have a thing, and then it's like they have their like jury, which we're on. IGN is on. But like that one, I don't pay attention to. I can only speak to our game of the year because I have been part of our game of the year process since 2017, and like that is like it is the most like democratic human version of a game of the year that you can there's nothing behind the scenes that's like we should give this game of the year whatever. What happens
Mm,
is we have all these meetings, like the nominations happen, and the nominations kind of happen
like
just
over the year,
they
right?
just kind of
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, we like and then there's meetings, and then we kind of decide on a nomination, but there's no meeting that decides IGN's game of the year. We go to a meeting and we talk about it, and then a silent vote happens, and that is what decides it. It's pure numbers. There's no like
Mm,
this is what we should give game of the year. It's we all go into a room, and we hash it out, and people talk about it, and
yeah.
and it's I guess in some way you can say like people, you're trying to convince someone like this is why I think Baldur's Gate 3 is game of the year. But then that meeting is not where the game of the year is decided. It's then everyone goes their
Like
separate
actual
ways,
voting. Yeah.
and then we do actual voting. And I have no idea usually what other people pick for game of the year. Like
I don't know either. Yeah, I
I
think I've been in like one of those things. I think I can't remember which one I voted for just because the forms look very similar and like at the
sure.
end of the year everything blurs because you're just like just get me on vacation.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and we're expected to at the end of the year we have to go back and we have to like play all
That's
these games we didn't
right.
play. It's like, hey, Dead Island 2's up for nomination. You didn't play it, so you need to spend a day
That's right.
and go
Yeah.
back and play it. That way we can make sure that like maybe it actually deserves to win best zombie game of the year. Like who knows, you know?
Yeah.
And so we all have to like kind of go back and do that stuff. Or if somebody
Yeah.
missed big games like Starfield or Baldur's Gate.
I do
Um,
really like that process. Part of the process, like, oh, if no one's played this, we're gonna try to get codes and then you guys can
mhm,
play and then, have
yeah.
like an actual opinion on it, which is great. I really like that.
But it's like at the end of the year, it's voted by humans completely democratically. Nobody's vote is worth more than anybody else's vote. It's not like
Yeah.
senior people are like, well, my vote counts for 3 votes. It's like everybody gets one vote, and you choose what the game of the year is. And then you
Mhm.
choose, and then you go, I hope what I picked was correct. Like I voted in 2018. I voted for um Red Dead, and Red Dead did not win.
Oh, wait, it didn't? Which one won?
Something
You just
else.
know it wasn't Red Dead.
I know it wasn't Red Dead. I'm gonna look it up really quick because now I'm curious. God of War. Makes sense. So God of War won that year, but Red Dead
Damn.
came out later that year, and I voted for Red Dead because I love Red Dead more than God of War.
I would
But
honestly, I like God of War, but I definitely would have put Red Dead above it.
yeah, Red Dead. Well, yeah, Red
I
Dead 2 is just so good.
I
It's just
haven't
so
even
damn
played
good.
Red Dead, but I've seen other people play it, and I'm like, oh my god, dude.
You haven't played Red Dead 2?
No, that's one of those games that I
Oh,
want to get into, but
Stella.
I know it's on the back burner, but like there's so many games. And that's a big open what threw me off for a while was that it's a big open world, but I realized
Yeah.
I actually really like open world games. It just has to be the
Yeah.
right setting. And I know that's the right setting because I played online and I was like, fuck,
You'll
dude,
love
I want
it.
to play this.
You'll
Yeah,
love
I
it.
want to play it.
Not only is the setting cool, but every character in that game is just so cool.
The character development and the things you can discover on your journey, I think is what's the biggest draw for me.
Yeah.
But I know that I have to get through the games I want to right now before I go back to that because
Well, and I'm
yeah.
sure you're aware that Red Dead 2 is actually a prequel to Red Dead 1, right? So
Yes,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you don't have to play Red Dead. It's the only series ever where they just called it Red Dead Redemption 2, and it is a literal just prequel to the first game. It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
No, I know. Yeah,
I love
so
it.
like I've seen a playthrough of it, right? So like I understand, I know what happens at the end, but it's like
Oh, that's too bad.
no, but it's fine because like it's still it would still be my journey, right? Like I may
Mhm.
not make the same decisions as this person. So also like the things I discover might be different from what they discover, which is
Mhm.
the big thing, right? So I want to play it. I love that world. I think it's so cozy.
It's a great game. That game's
yeah.
awesome. And the PC version, which is where I assume you would play it,
Yes.
is like immaculate. Like it's so
It's
good.
beautiful, dude.
Because like
yeah,
when I played it, it was on PS4, PS4 Pro, but even still, like it's
okay.
not updated for because there was no PC version back then.
Yeah.
And now you can play it in all of its frame rates
Dude,
and
yes, I'm so honestly I'm so excited for that. Yeah. It's when I played online, I was like, fuck, dude, this game is gorgeous.
it's
So,
still one of the best
yeah.
looking games ever made. Like,
yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
so excited. Yeah, so I'm gonna play through that. But first I gotta get through Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk, but yeah, that's gonna take the rest of the year.
Yeah. Too many video games.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today and spending time out of your busy Sunday. I know you guys got more Halloween decorations to go get and play more Baldur's Gate, which Mark is doing a naked run. He sent me a picture
Doing a
of his,
naked run, yep.
character who's nude, and I was like, man, what do you do when you have to jump?
Don't worry about it.
Bounce around.
Yeah, hope for the best.
Oh my goodness. Well, I would ask if you want to shout out any of your socials, but like, do you want to shout out any like videos that are coming out for Cyberpunk that we've done together? Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah, we did. We made a bunch of videos, me and Stella. We don't get to work together that often, so I'm glad that we actually like got to
This is fun,
for
yeah.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Well, also we were like nerding out the entire time. Like, oh, did you do this? Like, look at this. Or like, oh, look at with me and my knife kills. I'm just like, yeah, like.
Well, and a lot of my job is like, okay, I'm on this game with you, but like I'm not actually on it because my job is just like managing stuff now. And so it's like all the I've been working with your boyfriend Joel and all that stuff. And it's like, but I wasn't playing Baldur's Gate when they were. So like when they were like telling me about videos, I was like, just make whatever. I don't
I don't know.
I don't know anything about this game. Just I defer to you guys. And it wasn't until we put out like all the tips videos and stuff like that. Then I started playing and I was like, man, I wish I could have been helping with those. So it's not very often that I actually get to jump in. I got to play Starfield and now then just because of just resources, I was like, I have to play Cyberpunk. There's literally no one else.
You and me. Yeah,
so it's just been you and me. That's it. And
So-
now my freelancer Carrie, my son. But that's it. It's just we're a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to end because now I'm like, we got to figure out the next game you're on. That way we can play it together because that's been fun.
Yeah, no, it's good. We make a pretty good tag team, Mark.
Yeah. So no, nothing to plug. I'm not on social media anymore. So, and if you find my Instagram, you can add me, but I won't accept it because it's just how it is.
I love it. It's realistic.
Yep. I'm just keeping it fitty with y'all.
Stop.
I won't accept your invite.
Monday we'll have videos out for Phantom Liberty, things that like will help you out with like guide content, anything that you want to know. We helped build that out, but so that's what you can look forward to. I hope you enjoyed this weird like I don't know,
I don't know what this was.
tornado of thoughts. I don't know. It's
I
fun.
just showed up.
I wanted to do less of it. I'm trying a new format where it's less like structured and it's just more just talk to a person, let their personality.
This definitely wasn't structured. I can promise you that.
Yeah, no, I tried to keep it like kind of back on Cyberpunk, but also like we're talking about a lot of games that are coming out, and that this podcast is how this year has felt with games. So I feel like it's on par with that. But yeah, so yeah.
All right. Well, I look forward to
today.
the next one where I will not follow any of the plans you tell me beforehand.
There were no plans, so it's fine.
I promise to keep that going.